Welcome back to One on One with Mr. U. Of course, I'm your host, Mr. U. If you're watching us for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. And of course, if you have a question for myself or our guest for today's show, drop it in the comment section of the chat where you're watching this episode. If it's on replay, drop it in the comment section anyhow. We get back to you after the show's already been broadcast. But in studio with us, award-winning international best-selling author, ghostwriter of more than 50 books, over 1 million copies sold. Wow. And founder of Vendela Publishing, Lana McAra is with us. Lana, how are you today? So good to see you.
I'm great. I'm excited to be with you today, Yusuf.
Same here, same here. Wow. I want to get into your work. I am a writer, probably not with the kind of frequency that you have so far, but I've been writing for a long time, and I'm astounded by the fact that you sold more than over 1 million books, because I don't think that's normal. I don't hear that very often. I interview a lot of folks, but I don't hear numbers like that. What would you say, Lana, is the truth about your success? It took you the longest to learn.
Oh, wow. Finding the ideal reader, I think, was my biggest learning curve. And I've written in several different genres. I write fiction and nonfiction and so forth. And when I started getting fan mail back is when I really started to understand who my readers were. And for the fiction, I started out writing Old West romance with a mystery. And believe it or not, everybody that wrote me was a woman over the age of 70.
Wow.
That was shocking. I thought it was young girls. But no.
Wow. That is shocking. Okay. I'm curious about this because we have a lot of authors. Matter of fact, they don't even come on this show as much. On one of our other shows, they call me Mr. U, the podcast. They come on those shows all the time. I'm meeting authors almost on a weekly basis. And one of the things that I'm starting to get a feel of here is that, even though the books are good, well written, have a great story, they don't always sell. So I want to ask you, as somebody who's an expert in this realm, why don't good books sell? Why is that not an automatic?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, for one thing, there's so much competition out there. And, Amazon puts on maybe 2 million books a year. And it doesn't matter how good the book is. It's going to get lost in that big swelling sea of writers and algorithms and all that stuff. So the first thing to do is to think about what I was just talking about. Are you assuming you know who your reader is? And maybe you're missing the mark. Maybe that's not really your target. Maybe it's something else. And so it's really important to key in on, first of all, who's my ideal reader, because you have to get away from the algorithm in order to sell books. And that might sound weird, but it's the truth. Yeah.
It doesn't sound weird at all. It kind of applies to social media and content creation as well. You're fighting through that algorithm before you can get, it's like a buffer between you and the person you want to get to. So it's not weird to me whatsoever. What do you think is the biggest? There's a lot of talented writers out here. You've met them. I have too. What's the biggest mistake you think they make that's keeping them from becoming, I guess, professionals, if you will?
Well, I think the biggest mistake they make is kind of the Wendy's idea. If we build it, they'll come. If I put it on Amazon, people are going to find it. They're going to love it. When actually, when you write a book, you started a business. And that is something that authors don't like to hear at all. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of authors over these 35 years, and they don't really want to be in business. At least most of them don't. Now, if it's a business that has a book that's about what they do and it's kind of like a giant business card, that's one thing. But if you have a fiction author who's having fun, they don't really like that idea. And I didn't either at the beginning, but eventually it got through to me that If I wanted to sell my books, I need to start thinking like an entrepreneur. Who's my customer? Who am I writing for? Who am I wanting to buy? And keying in on that, where do those people hang out? What groups would they be in on Facebook? Or where could I speak where they would be present? That's the kind of thinking. It's entrepreneurial thinking. And I call that being a career author rather than a hobby author.
Is there a chapter of your own life? Because I mean, as a writer, I know I share much of my own story. It's always been nonfiction, so there's never been a fictional aspect for me, except for the story I used to write way back in the 70s and the 80s when I thought I was going to be the next mystery writer. A lot of fiction then. But is there a chapter of your own life story, Lana, that you believe could have prevented you from being the author you are today? Even though it didn't now, we can see that you're successful. But is there a chapter or part of your life that could have prevented you from being who you've become as an author?
Oh, yeah. Actually, there were a couple of times when my writing career got derailed. And there was something inside me that wouldn't let me stop. When I got a divorce in 2009, which now it's been, almost 17 years ago. Yeah. But that took my life on a completely different path. I was broken and wounded and all the things. And it took a while. It took about 5 years for me to come back into my identity, to know who I am. It was a different person than I was before, but at least I knew who I was again. Yeah. But that really was liberating for me, because that was a growth period in my life where I actually got in tune more closely with who I am and what I really want to do. What is the message I want to deliver? Who do I want to talk to? Those kind of questions that I kind of knew but didn't really know before, I was able to get more clear on and more grounded in myself as well.
I love that. This is a tough question for me to ask, I guess, only because I battle with the whole idea of being, a professional author. I've been in a situation where I guess I can be considered a published author and even a best-selling co-author. I think I can put that on my resume if I want to. I don't, but if I want to, I have that in my back pocket. But for me, there's a really blurry line between achievement and legacy, especially when it comes to being an author. How do you know that you're in the legacy building space and not just trying to achieve to keep up with the Joneses or to outrun the algorithm or your competitors? How do you know that you're building a legacy through your authorship? How do you know that?
Well, that's a great question. That's the first time I believe I've ever been asked that question. So there's two parts to it. Okay. First of all, you have built a body of work. You have more than one book. You're putting books out fairly regularly. I mean, it doesn't have to be every single year, but every so often you're putting out a new book. And the other piece of it is that you're building over time. So you're marketing your books and you're out there speaking, you're connecting with people over certain topics, or, going on the various sites like Reddit or whatever and talking about certain things. And so there's longevity and continuity. So really, when it comes down to it, I call it a lifestyle change. I see my writing and my marketing as lifestyle now. That's just a part of who I am. And it's what I do. And that is legacy building.
I love that. And you're helping other people do the same thing, if I'm not mistaken about that. Tell me what's the biggest challenge of helping people kind of find their voice? Obviously you found yours, but I'm asking this because I want to pull something out of you that maybe other hosts don't. I do that on all of our shows. I pride myself on going a little bit deeper. But if people come on a show, different genres of life in business, entrepreneurship, etc., and they talk about this stuff so casually, as if, I help people do this, I help people do that. Tell me one of the real the real challenges of helping somebody find their voice. I mean, you found yours. I don't know if you have a challenge in that area or not, but you have found your voice clearly. How do you help somebody else find it? What's one of the most challenging parts of that? Because I want the audience to understand the real aspect of finding your voice in this kind of genre.
Wow, that's really good. Yusuf, these are awesome questions. It comes down to personal development. And this is something that most writing teachers or writing coaches don't actually get into. But if you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to write from that place. You have to dig down inside yourself and find it in there. And sometimes that identity is covered up with pain. It's covered up with a lot of past baggage and things we don't want to look at, maybe regrets or guilt. And so one of the keys, and the key for me too, was unleashing that person inside of me, the real me. And that, I hate to tell you this, but it involves some changes. There may be some friends that you have to let go of because they're toxic. There may be some family members you got to distance yourself from because they're taking you down. I mean, this is a lifelong learning development project, and only the brave, only the brave will go there. Yeah.
I love that. What has writing taught you about people, Lana, that most people may never discover or never find out that they weren't doing what you're doing?
It's really the human condition. And one of the things is the topic that people choose to write about will tell you a lot about what's going on inside of them. Some people want to wear a mask and they just want to put out, glossy stuff that looks good and they look good and all of that. Some people want to just wallow in the pain and live in that cesspool of pain. And other people actually want to share the changes and the things that help them, the tools, the insights, and they really want to share their growing points. And to be honest, those are the clients I want. When I do an intake call with somebody, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for someone who is really intent on this human existence and helping others and digging deep and dropping the mask and being real, all of those things, because that's where the magic happens. It's painful for us sometimes to go there, but that's what people need. They need it because they have pain too. And we're tapping into that and we're helping them along.
That's so good. I think about that before I send a social media post. I don't do it very often, and this relates to one of our shows on our podcast brand. I think about it before I send it. What's this going to reveal about where I'm at? Is this something I want people to be thinking about? Do I want to be analyzed in this area? Before I hit send, I'm thinking like, what's going to happen? So I get what you're saying. The title of that book or that story, that poem, that blog, it reveals so much. I love that. That's good stuff right there. Now, you've been doing about, I guess, more than 2 decades of publishing, if I got that right.
Yes.
I'd love to share with our audience what's something that you had to change your mind about, adjust. Because I know people who think success is doing the same thing over and over again. I don't really agree with that. Just as a general, in a general context, I don't agree with that. I think that success is doing, specific things that may be considered mundane over and over again. But I feel like adjusting, learning how to navigate situations, and making the right call, making the right move, that makes you successful as well. What did you have to change your mind about, Lana, in regards to your publishing journey after all of these years? Was there anything that you felt like, you know what, I can't keep doing that. I need to adjust and make a pivot, whether it's personal or whether it was professional and business related, or either or both?
Well, I was looking for a magic bullet back in the day when I first started publishing. And what that means is, if I could just get this award, if I could just speak on this radio show or TV show, if I could just do this one thing, if I could get that opportunity or connect with that famous person or whatever your magic bullet might be. I did some things, I was on television. I won a national award for my writing. I did all that stuff. And I hired a public relations company to get me on all kinds of media. And, I have to tell you, there's no magic bullet. There's no magic bullet. There's no day that you wake up and say, oh, I'm a successful novelist or author or whatever. No, it is a day in, day out consistency. I love what I do. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep marketing. I'm going to keep connecting with people. I'm going to do it until I drop. I am in it to win it, and I'm not quitting. It doesn't matter what happens, and this is my life. When you get to that point, that's when you can start getting traction. Because looking for a magic bullet, sorry to tell you, I hate to break it to you, but there is not one.
Break it to them. There is no magic bullet. I appreciate that kind of advice. And this show is all about authentic strategies and tips, especially this show right here, authentic tips and strategies that people can apply right away. That's a great place to start. Because most authors, I wish they had that. There's no magic bullet. I think that they were informed somehow that there was one. So thank you for dispelling that myth. All right, final question for you, Lana, and then we'll go ahead and close the broadcast out for today. If somebody listening that has a story inside of them that they know they got to get out, but they're afraid to start it, what's the most practical, number one, first step that you would challenge them with to do today, as in right now?
Just start. Just start. And don't start at the beginning. Okay. Start with the thing that interests you and captures you the most. The point you keep thinking about. Start there. And just write that. And then when you get that written, then think about the next thing you want to dive into. What else excites you? And write that. And so it's about the writing. Just start writing. Just start. I mean, you could start with a pen and a piece of paper. You could start with your computer. You could start with your cell phone, talking into your cell phone. You can start in so many ways, but just start.
I love it. We got your link up on the screen for those that are listening and not watching us. Of course, you can catch the replay. You can be able to see it the same way, or it's going to be in the show notes for you. VendelaPublishing.com, spelled VENDELA, publishing.com. So you can find all of Lana's work. I'm sure there's a way for you to reach out to her with any questions you have about ghostwriting or publishing. She is the founder of Vendela Publishing and the award-winning international best-selling author and ghostwriter. More than 50 books with over 1 million copies sold. Lana McAra, thank you so much for making us part of your week and sharing your story with us today. Thank you so much. If you're watching for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, of course. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section wherever you find this show, or you can directly send it to me via DM. Happy to connect you with Lana and answer any questions you may have. Have a great day. This is One-on-One with Mr. U. That's Lana McAra. I'm Mr. U. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching and listening.